Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Radha Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopi Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapti Kanchan Gorangi Radhe Vrindaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chev Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jai Mudire. Guru Sri Radhe Golokananda Bhagwan ki Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Hare Krishna everyone. Hare Krishna Tarun.
Jai.
Hare Krishna Anil ji.
Hare Krishna everyone.
कैसे हैं सब?
Hare Krishna.
और अनिल जी कैसे चल रहा है सब? अनिल जी आवाज आ रही है आपको?
बढ़िया है सब. आप तो सुनाइए क्या हो रहा है?
या बस नहीं सब ठीक है?
हाँ आ रही है.
अच्छा हाँ थोड़ी देर से आ रही है.
हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन.
हरे कृष्णा तरुण. हेलो सचिन. हरे कृष्णा. ऑल राइट. तो 2 वीक के ब्रेक के बाद शुरू करते हैं. होपफुली वी रिमेम्बर फ्यू थिंग्स. तो हम लोग कैंटो 3 कंप्लीट कर चुके थे. या सो वी कंप्लीटेड कैंटो 3 and we actually started canto 4 which is the creation of the fourth order. और इसमें महात्मा विदुर और मैत्रेय मुनि के बीच में जो वार्तालाप चल रहा है, श्यामभू मनु की जो हायरार्की है उसके बारे में पहले थोड़े चैप्टर्स में बताया है ना. And as we know there are 12 books and we remember how many shlokas are there?
18,000 plus.
18,000 shlokas in Srimad Bhagavatam. And actually, if we just look at the number of cantos, there are 12 cantos and we have done 3, so we have done 1/4. So from that angle, it seems we might have done 3,000 shlokas, which is really good. And there are 332 chapters. So it's pretty nice. And so canto 4, yeah, जो हम लोगों ने शुरू किया था. The first chapter is about genealogical table of daughters of Manu. तो जैसा कि हम लोग जानते हैं श्यामभू मनु, the first Manu, yeah, and he is the son of whose son is Shambhu Manu of?
Brahmaji.
Brahmaji, yeah. So Lord Brahma's son is Shambhu Manu. And in fact, we had completed 23 shlokas of this chapter. And just to recap very quickly, as we know, so Lord Brahma's son is Shambhu Manu and wife's name is Satrupa. Yeah. And they talk about the hierarchy. This is how the universe expanded, right? Like all the rishis. And if you really know, they ask about like, what is your kul, right? If you go, sometimes they ask like, what's your gotra, right? Like, I don't know if anyone know your gotra.
I know.
I think, yeah, we all know about Gotra.
Yours is Atri, Sachin?
Atri, yeah.
Oh, Atri Muni. So that's great because Atri Muni and Ansuya. So that comes from Atri Muni. If you really think about this, so Atri Muni is also, so Atri Muni is a big rishi, and Ansuya is the daughter of Shwambhu Manu, and she got married to Atri Muni. And Atri Muni and Ansuya had 3 sons. We are going to read about them today, I think. And 3 sons are Somdev of Lord Brahma's Ansh, and Durvasha Muni, who is Lord Shiva's Ansh, and Dattatreya Bhagwan, who is Lord Vishnu's sons. So as if you remember Ansuya's story, right? She had Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh as her children. So that's Atri Muni, right? And so Ajay, you were saying your Gotra.
I think it's Kashyap.
Kashyap Muni, yeah.
Yeah.
So Kashyap Muni, I think they had son Purnima, and I think we'll probably read about Kashyap Muni also. So that's very interesting. So all those rishis, if you remember, Devhuti, yeah, Mother Devhuti, we all know. Kapil Muni gave the whole transcendental instruction to Mother Devhuti. And Devhuti had got married to whom? Remember? Devhuti was married to
Karda Muni.
Karda Muni, yeah. So Karda Muni and Devhuti had got married. And as we know, Devhuti is also daughter of whom? Devhuti is daughter of
Swambhu
Shwambhu Manu. Yeah. If you remember, like Lord
Swambhu Manu.
yeah. So Lord Brahmaji told, or Lord Vishnu gave darshan to Karda Muni and said that Shwambhu Manu's daughter is going to come tomorrow, and then you'll get married. So Karda Muni and Devhuti got married, and they had 9 daughters. Yeah, those 9 daughters got married to all the Rishi Munis, like Atri Muni and Kashyap Muni and all that. So we are going to read about that. And then that's after that Kapil Muni was born to Devhuti, Mother Devhuti and Karda Muni. So coming back, we are going to read about Shwambhu Manu and the descendants. And so Shwambhu Manu had 3 daughters. Okay. And one was Akuti. Hello, Hare Krishna Rinaji. Hare Krishna Rinaji.
Hare Krishna Bhaiya.
Hare Krishna. So Shwambhu Manu had 3 daughters. One we just talked about, Devhuti. Yeah, Mother Devhuti. The other one was Mother Akriti and then Prasuti. Yeah. So Akuti and Prasuti. And if you remember, Akuti had son named Yagya. And daughter named Dakshina. And Dakshina was avatar of Sri Lakshmi herself. And Yagya was avatar of Lord Vishnu. And Yagya becomes Indradev afterwards. Yeah, hello, Hare Krishna Jyoti.
Hare Krishna Gaji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, we are just restarting, we are just recapping where we were, and then we'll keep going, right? So we are reading about Shwambhu Manu and the descendants. Shwambhu Manu had 3 daughters, Devhuti, Akuti, and Prasuti. And it's very important to read about that, how the universe got expanded, right? Now that we can relate to it. Like Sachin, the Gotra of Sachin is Atri, which comes from Atri Muni. And Gotra of Ajay is Kashyap Muni, So that's how we can now relate and see how the universe has actually expanded, and we can actually, so it is not just a mythology or something, right? Those are the facts which, and I'm sure Jyoti, you know your Gotra, right?
What is it? What Gajit?
Gotra? Like
Gotra. Yeah, I've heard that.
Now what's your Gotra? Do you know?
Renuka Gotra.
Renuka? Okay. So I'm sure, there's some relation somewhere. If you go to Tirupati Balaji Mandir, 2 things they ask you, okay, what is your Gotra?
Correct.
And then they relate to that, and that's how they do puja, right? Based on that.
Any kind of archana.
Or any kind of archana. In ISKCON, when the people become devotees, you would have seen they get a new name, right? like you will find they get a new name and then also get a new gotra. So it's like twice born, like they're born again for new gotra and this, because they become part of the ISKCON family. So that's how the gotra changes. So it's kind of very interesting and important to read about those. Yeah, so let's continue reading. So we were on Shlok 23rd, where the sage was standing on one leg, but as soon as he saw that the three deities had appeared before him, he was so pleased to see them all together that despite great difficulty, he approached them on one leg. Yeah, one leg. So which sage are we talking about here? Do you remember? Who was standing on one leg, did tapasya for 100 years? And then who are the three deities who appeared in front of him? Yeah, so that's Atri Muni. So we are talking about, so Atri Muni, Lord Brahma asks Atri Muni to expand the universe again, like all the Rishi Munis. So Atri Muni goes to a mountain called Riksh and he does tapasya there. And the kind of tapasya he does is he is standing on one leg for 100 years. So one leg on 100 years, and then he imagines and he wants a son who is like Lord himself, Supreme Lord himself. Okay, so that's the tapasya he's doing, and he wants a son like Supreme Lord himself. And then in the last shloka, I think we read, where the fire appears from his head, and then all the three deities, and who are the three deities, are none other than Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. So Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh appears in front of Rishi Atri, yeah, and then Rishi Atri sees him. He is so pleased to see them all together, and then he approaches them, does a Dandvat Pranam. Yeah, so we are going to read from Shlok 24 now. So that's where we are. And now let's see what happens when Lord Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh appears in front of Atri Muni. Yeah, so Ajay.
Sure. Pranamya dandavadham mad patasthe ranjali vishhans susparnasthanam svaitam svaishchidvain shrichitvan. Thereafter he began to offer prayers to the three deities who were seated on different carriers, a bull, a swan, and a Garud, and who held in their hands a drum, kushu grass, and discus. The sage offered them his respects by falling down like a stick. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So what happens then is the sage, who is Atri Muni, offered them his respects by falling down like a stick, which basically means Dandavat Pranam. Yeah, like how you do Dandavat Pranam. Pranamya Dandavata. Yeah. And then he started offering prayers, and you can see different carriers. Vrish is like bull, Hans, swan, and Garud. Yeah, Hans, Suparna. So, and we know those are like, we know bull is carrier of which Lord is represented?
Shivji.
Yama?
No,
Shivji.
Lord
Shiv.
Shiv. Lord Shiv. Yeah. And swan is Hans.
Brahma.
Hans.
Lord Brahma. Yeah. Lord Brahma is Hans. And Garud. We all know that. So Garud is
Vishnu, yeah.
Lord Vishnu. Yeah. So Lord Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. And similarly, what do they have in their hands? Drum. Damru. Who has Damru?
Shivji.
Shivji.
Shivji. Kusa grass
Brahma.
is Lord Brahma. And a chakra. Chakra is
Vishnu.
Lord Vishnu. Yeah. So that's how Atri Muni did the Dandavat Pranam, and he started offering prayers. And actually we can quickly read this very nice purport. Tarun.
Danda means a long rod, and what means like. Before a superior, one has to fall down on the ground just like a stick. And this sort of offering of respect is called Dandavat. Atri Rishi offered his respect to the three deities in that way. They were identified by their different careers and different symbolic representations. In that connection, it is stated here that Lord Vishnu was sitting on Garuda, a big aquiline bird, and was carrying in his hand a disc. Brahma was sitting on a swan and had in his hand kusha grass, and Lord Shiva was sitting on a bull and carrying in his hand a small drum called a damru. Atri Rishi recognized them by their symbolic representations and different careers, and thus he offered them prayers and respects. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Anilji? अनिल जी पढ़ेंगे आप? I think there's a time lag. Anil ji, can you hear us?
जी हाँ, मैं कृपावलोकेन हसद्वद नेनोपलम्बितान तद्रोचिषा प्रतिहते निर्मील्य मुनिरक्षिणी. Atri Muni was greatly pleased to see that the three devas were gracious towards him. His eyes were dazzled by the effulgence of their bodies, and therefore he closed his eyes for the time being. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so the three devas are gracious towards him. Kripavalokena. And then Tadro Richasha Pratihite is like the eyes were dazzled by the effulgence of their bodies. Yeah, the effulgence of their bodies. So of course, when Lord Brahma Vishnu Mahesh appears in front of anyone, what happens? Right? So Atri Muni then closed his eyes for some time. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Ravi. And since the deities were smiling, he could understand that they were pleased with him. They are pleased with the tapasya. Atri Muni was standing on, what was the tapasya?
He was standing on his one leg for 100 years.
Right. Yeah, and doing the prayers on one leg. And their glaring bodily effulgence was intolerable to his eyes, so he closed them for the time being. Reena ji?
चेतस्तत्व प्रवणम युञ्जन्नस्त अवे स्थावित सहंतांजलि श्लक्षणया सूक्तया वाचा सर्वलोकगणीयसः. अत्रिरुवाच विश्वोद्भवस्थिति लयेषु विभज्यमाने माया गुणानुयुगं विगृहीत देहा ते ब्रह्म विष्णु गिरीशा प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं वस्तेभ्यः क एव भवतां म इहोपहूत. But since his heart was already attracted by the deities, somehow or other he gathered his senses, and with folded hands and sweet words he began to offer prayers to the predominating deities of the universe. The great sage Atri said, O Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva, you have divided yourself into three bodies by accepting three modes of material nature, as you do in every millennium for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all of you and beg to inquire whom of you three I have called by my prayer. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so it's very interesting that Atri Muni is praying to the Supreme Lord. Yeah, and all three lords appear. So he's asking, like, so whom did I really call? Yeah, very interesting. And also it says here that you have divided yourself into three bodies by accepting the three modes of material nature. So who is related to whom? Like, do you know? Like, What are the three modes? Of course, we know that, right?
Yeah. Rajoguna, Sattoguna, Tamoguna.
Right. So Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. So Lord Vishnu represents Satogun. Lord Brahma represents Rajogun, and Lord Shiva represents Tamogun. So those are, and that's how they represent also creation, maintenance. Creation is Lord Brahma, maintenance Lord Vishnu, and dissolution is Lord Shiva, right? So that's how they are divided into this universe. Yeah. And so Lord Atri Muni is asking, whom did I really call by my prayer? And just to recap, right, what we are reading in this chapter is Shambhu Manu and then his descendants, right? Shambhu Manu is son of Lord Brahma. Yeah. And Shambhu Manu was married to Satrupa. Shambhu Manu and Satrupa had three daughters, Akuti, Prasuti, and Dehuti. Yeah. Mother Dehuti we have read a lot, right? Then we have Akuti and Prasuti. So Prasuti was married to Raja Daksh. Okay. And then Akuti will read. And then Dehuti, what we are reading right now, are the 9 daughters of Mother Dehuti and Kardamuni. Yeah. And out of 9 daughters, the daughter we are reading about right now is Ansuya. Yeah. Ansuya got married to Atri Muni. So that's what we are reading. Atri Muni and Ansuya, right? And Atri Muni goes and does tapasya for 100 years, one leg, and then Lord Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh appears in front of him. Yeah, because Atri Muni desired that he wants to have a son who is like the Supreme Lord himself. Yeah. And so now when they appear, he's offering prayers to Lord Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Yeah. So that's where we are right now. Sachin?
मयेह भगवान विध प्रधानेन चित्ति कृतः प्रजननाय कथं नु यूयम् अत्रागतास्तनुभृतां मनसो अपि दुराद् भूत प्रसीदत महानीय विस्मयो मे. I called for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, desiring a son like him, and I thought of him only. But although he is far beyond the mental speculation of man, all three of you have come here. Kindly let me know how you have come, for I am greatly bewildered about this. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So Atri Muni was confidently aware that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Lord of the universe. So he prayed for the one Supreme Lord. He was surprised, therefore, that 3 of them appeared. Yeah. Ravi?
Yes. Maitreya Uvacha iti tasya vacha shutva prayaste vibudh varshabha pratyahu lakshanacha vacha prahasya tamarshi prabho. The great sage Maitreya continued, upon hearing Atri Muni's speech in that way, the 3 great deities smiled and they replied in the following sweet words. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So after Atri Muni's prayers, the 3 great deities, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, are replying. And this is being told by Maitreya Muni, and Maitreya Muni is telling whom? Mahatma Vidur. Yeah, remember that whole conversation which is going on.
Mahatma Vidur.
Yeah. So Maitreya Muni and Mahatma Vidur. Mahatma Vidur is asking all these questions, and Maitreya Muni is replying. That's how we are going through the whole series of avatars and everything else. Yeah. Jyoti?
Which one should I read?
This slow. Can you see?
Yeah. Deva uchaha yata krutaste sankalpo bhavyam tenaiva nanyatha satsankalpasya te brahman yadvaidayeti te vayam. The three deities told Atri Muni, "Dear Brahmana, you are perfect in your determination, and therefore, as you have decided, so it will happen. It will not happen otherwise. We are all the same person upon whom you were meditating, and therefore we have all come to you." Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Satsang Kalpashyate Brahman, and they are saying we are all the same person upon whom you are meditating, and therefore we are all come to you, is what they are mentioning to Atri Muni. Yeah. Tarun?
तस्मत् अंशभूतस्ते आत्मजा लोकविश्रुतः भवितरो भद्रं ते विश्रप्यन्ति च ते यशः. You will have sons who will represent a partial manifestation of our potency, and because we desire all good fortune for you, those sons will glorify your reputation throughout the world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Bhavataru Anga Bhadram. And so, like partial manifestation of our potency of Lord Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. So, that's what they tell to Atri Muni. Evam kamvaram dattva prati jagmuha sureshwaraha sabhajitastayoha samyag dampatyo mirshastostataha. So thus, while the couple looked on, the three deities Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwar disappeared from that place after bestowing upon Atri Muni the benediction. Yeah. So Atri Muni gets the benediction, and then Lord Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh disappears. Ajay?
Sure. Somo Bhrad Brahmano Shen Datto Vishnu Stu Yogavita Durvasam Shankar Karasyanshu Nibodha Girasah Praja. Therefore, from the partial representation of Brahma, the moon god was born of them. From the partial representation of Vishnu, the great mystic Dattatreya was born, and from partial representation of Shankar, Lord Shiva, Durvasa was born. Now you may hear from me of many sons of Angira. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Atri Muni gets three sons, Som, yeah, who is the partial representation of Lord Brahma, Datto, Dattatreya, representation of Vishnu, and Durvasha, yeah, representation of Shankar, yeah, Lord Shiva. So that is about the Atri Muni. So what we are reading about the Atri Muni, and who is the wife of Atri Muni?
Anusuya.
Anusuya.
Yeah. That's where we get Dattatreya and Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So then now we are going to read about many sons of Angira. Yeah, like we are reading about 9 different daughters of Mother Dehuti and Kardamuni. And Angira gets married to Shraddha, who is the other daughter of Dehuti and Kardamuni. Okay, Rinaji?
Shraddha Tungirasa Patni Chatastro Asut Kanyaka Sinivali Kuhuraka Chaturthya Numatis Tatha. Angira's wife Shraddha gave birth to 4 daughters named Sinivali, Kuhu, Raka, and Anumati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. And Jyoti? Jyoti, you there? Okay, Ravi.
Yes. Tatputra vapara vastam kyato swaro chiteshwarantare utthyo bhagavan sakshad brahmashtischa brahaspati. Besides these 4 daughters, she also had another 2 sons. One of them was known as Uthaya, another was the learned scholar Brahaspati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So who are the parents of Brihaspati ji? Yeah, which Muni are we reading about? Angira Muni, yeah?
Yeah.
Angira Muni and Mother Shraddha. The name of, and so they had 4 daughters, and then they also had 2 sons. One of the son is Brihaspati. So see how we also, so like Dev Kulya who became Ganga, right? And then we read about Yajna who became Lord Indra, right? So this is how like we can see how the whole thing has really come together. So we are going to pause here.
Family chart banana padega. So that we know.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it's in fact, so this is one chart, right? Where we know which Gotra we are in, and this is how we relate ourselves to the Gotra. Science doesn't have all this, but we can relate to like where we are coming from. Similarly, all these Rishi Munis who are there, they are descendants, and it's coming in this hierarchy, right? Like for example, if you see Swami Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are in the hierarchy of Lord Brahma. So like that, there are 4 hierarchies. So you have Lord Brahma, Goddess Lakshmi, and Lord Shiva, and Sanat Kumars. So there are like 4 hierarchies of the Rishi Munis. Everybody else is not in the hierarchy. What this really means is the instructions given by the Lord himself is what we are reading. Like, so where have all these facts come from, right? So we are reading those facts from the person, from the Supreme Person who has created this, right? So like Lord Brahma has heard from Lord Vishnu himself. And then Narad Muni is son of Lord Brahma, he has heard from him. Then Ved Vyas ji has heard from Narad Muni, right? And then Sukdev ji has heard from Vyas Dev ji. So like that, it has been coming into the whole hierarchy. Yeah. So this is how the knowledge has been propagated. But you're right. I think we can create the tree. It's also in the list sometimes, like someone should take this assignment and create this nice diagram. Yeah. But the interesting part is we could see where we are related to, which was really nice. It's good to see Sachin, who's Gotri Atri Muni. So he's somewhere descendant of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, because Anshuya and the Atri Muni had sons, right? Who are representatives of Lord Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So very interesting. All right, so we are going to pause, and as you know, we have changed our timings from 10 to 10:40 to 10 to 10:50. So the automatic Zoom will not disappear. So we'll have to just manage the time. And I will see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Let's hear the Kirtan. And then any questions? Are we all good with the timings and all that, right? This will free up Thursday, right? But we don't lose any time because we'll increase 10 minutes every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So 3 days we increase by 10 minutes, but then you have summer and all that. So Thursday is free for all. Yeah. Any comments, any questions? Sorry. All right. So we'll hear the Kirtan for 3-4 minutes, and then we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
All right. So we'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.